Now, for the first time since that historic victory, she's back, squaring off with some of the best female bowlers on the planet. Liz Johnson, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, Shannon Pluhowsky, Michelle Feldman, and Stefanie Nation in a good old-fashioned Texas shootout.
Yeah!
It's the PBA Women's Series Showdown, presented by Bowl.com, coming your way from the new International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas. Will Kullick dominate the women like she did the men? Find out next. From the campus of the United States Bowling Congress, we welcome you inside the state-of-the-art International Training and Research Center, where today it will host 6 of the best female bowlers in the world for the 2010 PBA Women's Series Showdown. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, glad you're with us this afternoon. This past season on the Women's Tour was dominated by one of the greatest female victories in any sport during any time. Back in late January, Kelly Kulick became the first woman to win on the men's PBA Tour. And Randy, she just happened to do it at a major, the TOC.
Yeah, and when you consider everything that was on the line, it was truly one of the greatest performances ever in a major. When you factor in the money, the full tour exemption for next season, and history in the making, to get her body to perform at the highest level and take down the men at the Tournament of Champions was truly amazing. It truly was one for the ages.
A very emotional victory for a lot of people, but it wasn't that victory which earned her a ticket here to Arlington, Texas, but rather a victory at the World Series of Bowling in Michigan during the PBA Women's World Championship. So that win got her here, and in match number 1, she'll take on former Player of the Year Michelle Feldman and the Earl Anthony Memorial Classic champion Stefanie Nation. The winner automatically moves on to the 3-person title match. Match number 2 will have number 2 overall seed Shannon Pluhowsky, reigning USBC Queens champion Liz Johnson, and Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, who won this event last year. The winner will move on. Of the remaining 4 competitors, the top 3 will move on to an elimination match, and the winner of that one will advance to the 3-way final.
And now for our first Women's Series Showdown competitor. The PBA Women's Series Earl Anthony Memorial Classic champion owns 2 PBA Women's Series titles. From Grand Prairie, Texas, please welcome Stefanie Nation.
Stefanie lives about 15 minutes south of this facility as an employee here with the USBC, her parents in attendance, and we're going to talk about this in a moment, Randy, but we're using an alternative scoring system. The Petraglia scoring system is back.
Yeah, Rob, you're right. It named after Johnny Petraglia. Each player gets 1 point for every shot thrown, so the lowest number per frame would be 1 for a strike. For a typical spare frame, the player would get 2, and if they are unlucky enough to leave a split, it would more than likely take 3 shots to clear the deck. So the number of shots needed to knock all 10 pins down is the player's score for that frame. Low score wins.
So this is Nation trying to clean this up to give her a 2. Petraglia scoring system, and she will take a seat with a 2. Up next, the woman who really dominated the headlines beginning in January, Kelly Kulick.
The PBA Women's World Champion made history when she became the first woman to win a PBA Tour event at the PBA Tournament of Champions from Union, New Jersey. Please welcome Kelly Kulick.
Kelly, the winner at the Women's World Championship. She also won the Women's Series Shark Championship. Leaves the 10.
Well, a really nice shot there by Kelly, and I guess you could probably say that based on all of her success this season, she's probably got a lot of confidence going on right now, Rob.
I think that's fair to say. Trying to knock this down for a 2. Kind of the scoring similar to the golf world out there. It's hard to say what exactly a par would be. 1 1/4, 1 1/2.
Yeah, maybe 1 1/2, but it would depend on the oil pattern.
And the oil pattern today is the Scorpion.
She owns 2 PBA Women's Series titles and is the first woman to bowl a 300 game on national television. From Auburn, New York, please welcome Michelle Feldman.
Michelle from the Syracuse area. And she takes the lead with a 1.
I'm on the earpiece already. What's going on in my ear frame?
So Nation 2, Kulick 2, Feldman 1.
Keep in mind that all the competitors will stay on the lane that they started on, and the order will not change. So Michelle Feldman really likes the Scorpion oil pattern because it's a little bit longer than some of the other patterns, and that fits right into her power game where she can move into the middle part of the lane and really use that good hand and high rev rate of hers to create that inside angle.
First strike there for Nation. And Kelly Kulick up now for her effort in the second. And Kelly, tell us what life has been like since that win in Vegas in January.
Life has been hectic, Rob. My schedule is jam-packed as could be. My next official time off will probably be somewhere in the first week of August. So I welcome all the opportunities and really am grateful. But I'm looking forward to getting back to normal time and finding Kelly time again.
It's good to be busy, though. Thanks, Kelly.
Good to be busy.
So here's Kulick in the second. Got a 2 in frame 1.
Yes.
And we'll take a 1 in frame 2.
So if you bowl a perfect game in the Johnny Petraglia scoring system, it would be
A 10. Correct. Less is more.
Absolutely. It's like low ball. You know, we used to do low ball where you try to pick the 7 and the 10 pin off only, and your best score would be 2 per frame.
Interesting.
Yeah. Thought you might like that.
Feldman right of target. Leaves the washout. And she's going to be challenged to hit a 2 on this frame. Oof. Just missed the 10.
And this is where the Johnny Petraglia scoring system really comes into play because she didn't convert the washout. Now it's her 3rd attempt at trying to clear all the pins off. If she were to miss the 10 pin, she would have to shoot it again.
And she takes care of that one. So the first 3 of the afternoon. Stefanie Nation, Kelly Kulick tied at 3s after 2. Michelle Feldman in the cellar. For now, it's early, only through 2 frames with a 4. At Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. By the United States Bowling Congress, the all-new bowl.com, your online source for all things bowling. Log on to bowl.com today. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. We welcome you back to Arlington, Texas, and ESPN's continuing coverage of the 2010 PBA Women's Series Showdown. We're in the midst of match number 1 between Stefanie Nation, Kelly Kulick, and Michelle Feldman. And through 5 frames, using the Petraglia scoring system, it's Kelly Kulick on top, where less is more with 6. So we begin the 6th frame here with Stefanie Nation. another strike for the local girl, as of now at least. While we are away, Kelly Kulick in the fourth momentarily was staring at a 7-10. Watch them collapse. Oh, double love tax. And that strike, coupled with a 2-point spare by Nation, gave Kulick the lead. This to maintain a 1-point lead over Nation.
Hey, it's starting to look like Kelly's got some really good mojo going on here, huh?
Wow.
Hey, Rob, how about I take you to the Know the Wood, huh?
Love that.
Well, it's the Scorpion oil pattern, 42 feet in length, and as you can see right now, the players that throw it straighter are going to play wide of second arrow. Michelle Feldman's going to be in using that high rev rate.
Oh, a late collapse of the 7-10 for Feldman as well.
Wow, is that some serious angle through the front part of the lane? Seen that before somewhere, Rob.
I love that. 7 goes forward, the 10 goes backwards. Kulick still up by 1 through 6.
Roll.
3 in a row there for Nation. It's time now for the winning touch, brought to you by Touch of Gray. Gets rid of some gray, never all. This week's winning touch takes us back to the TOC in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kelly Kulick, the 2 seed, took care of Mika Koivuniemi, and then in the title match dispatched Chris Barnes 265 to 195, a 70-point or 70-pin beatdown. And here's Kulick, her effort in the 7th, looking for 5 in a row. And won't get it, and so much for the good breaks.
See that one? I thought I threw good.
Well, that ball just broke loose right before it got to the head pin. 4, 6, 7. You can almost count on this being a 3-shotter. And because of that, she's going to go from the lead to possibly 3rd in this match.
Takes care of the 4-7, leaves the 6. She'll go back and size that one up. Kulick needs to take care of the 4-pin just to get out of the 7th frame with a total of 10 pins rather than 6-pin. She got the 4 and the 7 on her last shot.
She's going to be 1 behind Stefanie Nation, and if Michelle Feldman gets up and throws a strike here in the 7th, she's going to be 1 behind Michelle as well.
So strike here by Feldman will get her into first place temporarily with Stefanie Nation. Feldman celebrating a birthday tomorrow. Am I allowed to say how old she'll be? I forget the protocol on that thing. I think it's usually no.
Wow.
Another strike for the birthday girl to be.
They're renting a limo, and they're going to have a big time, aren't they?
I'm excited. I'm thinking about heading up to Syracuse just for that. 8 hours of joyriding in the Rochester-Syracuse area in a limo. And as she said, we're going to go out and do some partying. Michelle can party. From what I've heard, she's be a fun one to be with there.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. You are a bold-faced liar, Randy Peterson. We begin the 8th. Nation tied for first with Michelle Feldman here. Big 3 frames to go.
Oh, hang on.
Didn't like it.
Yeah,
It's
but
a break.
a huge break, Rob. She caves out the 6 and the 10. That's the same hit that Kelly Kulick just split on. So big break there. But Michelle Feldman is locked in, throwing a lot of strikes. And now Michelle Feldman finds herself in a position to be able to take the lead.
Nasty break.
Boy, you don't see that very often, shooting the 4-7 from right to left and chopping the 4 off the 7.
So Kulick getting a bit of a opening here and a break. Nation taking 3 shots. She's at 12. Kulick at 10 to begin her 8th frame. Leaves the 10 pin.
Good shot.
My, how this match has turned in the last couple of frames. Michelle Feldman gets off to that tough start, leaving the 1-2-10 washout, falls behind early. As you see Kelly leaving that weaker soft 10, where the 6 goes to the sidewall and just kind of lays her. Stefanie Nation then has the lead, tied with Michelle Feldman. Kulick had it for a while, then she splits. Very interesting.
And Feldman in the driver's seat. And Feldman qualified for this event not by winning a tournament, not by coming in 2nd or 3rd, but actually finishing 4th in the Women's Series Scorpion Championship. The top 3 finishers in that event, Kelly Kulick, Liz Johnson, Shannon Pluhowsky, had already qualified for this event.
Yeah, we asked her about if she felt fortunate to be here. She said, man, it's kind of like finding money on the street.
Well, she's guaranteed at worst a $2,000 check. That's $2,000 she didn't have, essentially. Right. And at best, she can walk away with 25 grand by winning the Women's Series Showdown. Big pickup here. She tries to take care of the 3-6-10.
Nicely done. If she doesn't convert there, we could have had a 3-way tie.
So Feldman still on top by 1. The winner of this match, and when I say winner, the person with the lowest score will automatically move on to the 3-way title match. There's her 6th strike. Comes at a good time.
Well, this must strike situation now for Kelly Kulick. She must throw a strike here to at least stay tied with Stefanie Nation, and then see what Michelle Feldman does in the 9th frame.
She hasn't struck since the 6th. A 3-point frame in the 7th, a 2 in the 8th. Here she is in the 9th. Having problems with that 10 pin. 3rd time she's left that today.
Well, it's back-to-back week 10s for her on that lane, and this looks like a pretty good shot. It just lacks just a pinch of hand at the bottom of the swing. But if she gets too much hand in it, she runs the risk of going through the nose. It's a fine line for her on this scorpion oil pattern.
Just 3 300 games were rolled this past season in the Women's Series. 2 of them by Kulick, although one of them was in mixed doubles. She had a 300 game at the Women's World Championship, which she won, and now Michelle Feldman in the 9th. A strike will keep her in the lead. And there it is.
Yeah, that was a good one there. Yeah, she's just one of those away from winning this match.
So like an idiot.
So up now, Stefanie Nation. 6 strikes for Nation. Her rough frame was the 8th, where she received a score of 3.
Well, that keeps her chances alive.
Come on, still alive. Come on.
At worst, Stefanie Nation will move on to the elimination match, at worst. So Kelly Kulick needs a strike here to help her cause. And the messenger bumps, and oh, you gotta be kidding me! Well.
Back to back week 10s.
That's going down, Randy.
Here comes the bird dog.
That's going down.
But once the machine hits it, it's got to stay up.
Itchy trigger finger on the machine. That may seal Kulick's fate. She clearly won't win this match. And she's going to have to sit and watch match number 2 to see if somebody will get a higher score than a 16 so she can hopefully move on, for her case at least, to the elimination match. Michelle Feldman, with a strike, will advance to the championship match with a score of 13. Didn't like it, and now she's in big trouble.
This is going to get real
You have to be
interesting.
kidding me.
This is going to get real interesting.
If she doesn't clear this up, and odds are against her, it'll be Nation who will win this.
Yeah. She's going to try to cover the 3-6 and the 4-7. At very least, will stay ahead of Kelly Kulick. Oh, yeah! How about you? We have a tie. And a roll-off. That's spectacular. Huge. Rob, if she misses the three pin right here and only gets the 6, she's got 2 more shots. She could have ended up finishing a tie with Kulick.
So when we return, we will have a 1-ball sudden death roll-off between Feldman and Nation. The best scorer will move on to the title match. So what? And here now, Kirk Von Kruger, PBA tournament
Ladies and
director.
gentlemen, by PBA rule, this game must be decided by a 1-ball sudden death roll-off. Each player will remain on their lanes. The higher seed, in this case, Michelle Feldman, will get choice of who starts. Michelle? Stefanie, you're going to start the roll-off. Good luck, players.
So Feldman was the higher seed. She gets the call, and she says, Stefanie, step up, show me what you got.
You like that strategy, Rob?
I do. Regardless, these two are going to bowl again.
Right.
Whether it's in the title match or the challenge elimination match. Yikes.
Well,
Stefanie takes a seat with a 6.
Great shot.
Michelle needs to drop 7 or more, and she will win.
yep.
I got to be 6. That's easier said than done.
Remember her last shot, she got 6 on her first ball. That looks pretty good.
There's your winner. So Feldman advances to the championship match. Drops all 10 in the 1-ball roll-off. So we know Feldman will bowl again. We know Stefanie Nation will bowl in the elimination match. Kelly Kulick is going to have to sit and watch match number 2 with us and hope somebody gets a 17, even a 16 or higher, and she may bowl again. When we return, we'll take a little tour of a wonderful facility right next door. The International Bowling Hall of Fame. Wonderful venue, and you'll see it next. Spot in the elimination match. Now, just across the parking lot from us here in Arlington is a chance to learn the game from the very beginning. Now, let's take a look inside at the new Knowledge Center for the sport.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame.
It's 18,000 square feet of bowling's past, present, and future. The International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame has moved to Texas and completes an already impressive campus here in Arlington.
The International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame is an integral part of the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington. Not only can bowlers come and learn how to bowl better in the International Training and Research Facility across the street, They can come here to the Hall of Fame and learn about the great history of the sport.
1901, the American Bowling Congress holds its first tournament in Chicago.
And the past is just the beginning. Computer kiosks provide access to all of the Hall of Famers and help build a bridge across generations.
It's just a tremendous museum. You go from history to modern to tomorrow. And if you're a bowling fan or if you're just a historian, this is the place to come. This museum also mixes entertainment with history, with education, and that's what I'm most proud of.
And they spared no expense in keeping this $2.5 million facility on the cutting edge of technology.
I find it very interactive, which I didn't expect. I don't know if I just expected we were just going to walk through and see pictures and just read things. It's a very interactive museum, so I think it attracts all ages, and it has something for everybody here.
There's even a gift shop there called Spare Parts where you can pick up souvenirs and some great clothes to plan your visit. Check them out at bowlingmuseum.com, and there is a lot of that young lady in the museum. CDB, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, getting loose and getting set for her match. And when we return, it will be CDB, Shannon Pluhowsky, and Liz Johnson doing battle when ESPN's coverage of the PBA Women's Series Showdown rolls on. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Women's Series Showdown. Match number 1 in the books, and it was bonus bowling. 1-ball sudden death roll-off. Michelle Feldman won it. She moves on to the title match. Stefanie Nation will be in the elimination match. Kelly Kulick hoping that somebody has a bad game. And she's hoping one of these 3 will have a poor game. Don't count on it from this loaded crew. Shannon Pluhowsky, Liz Johnson, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. Here's your Women's Series Showdown presented by Bowl.com format. The winners of the 2 matches advance to the championship. Lowest score of the remaining 4 is eliminated right now. That is Kelly Kulick with a 16. The elimination match winner will advance to the championship match. You got it all, Randy? Make sense?
I'm with you.
All right, time now for competitor number 1 of match number 2, Shannon Pluhowsky.
The PBA Women's Series Chameleon Champion. She won the 2006 USBC Queens and is a member of Team USA from Kettering, Ohio. Please welcome Shannon Pluhowsky.
Now, what a season Shannon had. 2nd at the Women's World Championship. 4th at the Bear, Don, and Paula Carter mixed doubles, and she won the Chameleon and the Scorpion Championship.
And since we're bowling on Scorpion, all right, let's talk about scoring. We're using the Petraglia scoring system. Each player gets 1 point for every shot thrown. So the lowest number per frame would be 1 for a strike. Rob, easy math for both of us today.
I appreciate easy math. The introductions now of competitor number 2.
The PBA Women's Series Viper Champion was the first woman to win a PBA Regional in 2005. She is a 6-time member of Team USA from Cheektowaga, New York. Please welcome Liz Johnson.
Hey, Randy, who is that skinny young thing over there?
That's Liz Johnson. She's lost 20 pounds.
Since October. Looks great. And she can still bowl great as well. And now, CDB.
The defending champion of the PBA Women's Series Showdown owns 20 pro titles and 2 PBA Women's Series victories. From North Richland Hills, Texas, please welcome USBC Hall of Famer Carolyn Dorin-Ballard.
And it's fair to say she has a rather large cheering audience here, including her daughter. There she is in that blue and white, gray and white, Alyssa, a little 6-year-old holding a sign there of mom's picture.
Crazy, crazy people.
Perfect through 3, my friend. Everybody's got a 1.
Strikes for the house. Here's how Shannon Pluhowsky got here. She had wins in the Chameleon and the Scorpion Championship. Take your pick, whatever one you want. She was really the most dominant woman on the Women's Series last season. And gets another strike there. 2 frames, 2 points for Pluhowsky. She takes a seat. Up comes Liz Johnson, who bowled 5 PBA events this past season. Her best finish was 23rd at the Pepsi Red, White, and Blue Open, and she led the Women's Series with a 217.05 average.
That's just wrong.
Thank you very much.
You know, it was last night that we were watching videos on YouTube of a young man leaving a solid 8 pin to lose a tournament by 1 pin way back in the day.
Who was that young man?
I can't remember, but every time I see somebody leave a solid 8 for a right-hander, man, it just pains me. You know?
What do you call it when an 8 pin is left standing?
I can't say it on the air.
Ooh, the skinny jeans from Liz Johnson.
And Sue, you know, we talked about her losing 20 pounds. She started that diet with her friend back home, Sue Jeziorski. So, you know, it's always a little bit easier when you do something like that with a friend, like you and I working out together this morning.
It was enjoyable. That will not be on YouTube. Up now, CDB striking the first. This to keep her in first with Pluhowsky at 2 points.
Didn't throw good.
And, you know, when we talked with Carolyn, she said, hey, I've been struggling. And
she said, I'm a work in progress.
Yeah, she's been struggling. Sometimes she really starts to feel pretty good about her game. You can see that her hand went around it early there, and that's usually a sign of early timing, which is exactly what she's been working on. She's been trying to get her timing later and get those feet moving so she can get in front and get ahead of that bowling ball.
Here's the reigning Women's Series Showdown champ trying to get out of this frame with a 2. So after 2 frames, Shannon Pluhowsky on top with 2. Liz Johnson and CDB tied with 3. Over the last couple of days, fans have had the opportunity to submit questions on PBA.com for our More of What Matters to You fan questions presented by One A Day. Today's question goes to you, CDB. You ready? Comes your way from Brenda Green in Nashville, Tennessee, and she asks, do you believe that women bowlers are stronger in their fundamentals and technique than men? Carolyn?
Oh, absolutely. We're more of the realistic, I guess, bowler style, more fundamentally sound. You know, you'll see everybody a very simple game, the 4-step, 5-step approach. I definitely try to keep it more simple, and the women do that. Not only that, the women are, I think, better spare shooters because, unfortunately, we may shoot it more than the men. So definitely the fundamentals are more sound, and that's what makes us accurate, consistent bowlers.
The realistic style. I like that, Carolyn. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Great question from Brenda Green. So we are done with 2 in match number 2, and Shannon Pluhowsky at 2 points with an early lead. Liz Johnson, CDB, nipping at her heels.
It's not always easy living with COPD, but I try not to let it hold me back. Whether I'm at the batting cages, down by the lake, or fishing at the shore, I'm breathing better with Spiriva.
Spiriva is the only once-daily inhaled maintenance treatment for both forms of COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema.
I take it every day. It keeps my airways open to help me breathe better all day long. And it's not a steroid.
Spiriva does not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms. Stop taking Spiriva and call your doctor right away if your breathing suddenly worsens, your throat or tongue swells, you get hives, have vision changes or eye pain, or have problems passing urine. Tell your doctor if you have glaucoma, problems passing urine, or an enlarged prostate, as these may worsen with Spiriva. Also discuss the medicines you take, even eye drops. Side effects include dry mouth, constipation, and trouble passing urine.
My doctor said I could be doing more to breathe better, and now I am.
Ask your doctor about lifestyle changes and once daily Spiriva.
Your 225-pound bench press is measured in millimeters, not reps. Your idea of 2-a-days is your commute to and from work. And the last team you starred on was your freshman football team. And starred might...
Nothing but strikes, but got a little break here in the 4th. She said, oh, uh-oh, and then an... Oh, yeah.
Little dominoes there, but the other 4 were pretty good.
Pluhowsky perfect through 5, and she is up now in the 6th. And Shannon, why has it been so easy for you through 5?
Just trying to make good shots. Good ball choice so far, so we'll see how the rest of the game goes.
Shannon just got a promotion at the lane she works at. She works at Capri Lanes there in Dayton, Ohio. She's now the general manager there. She's been in that position for a week and a half. She's already asking for time off to be here. What kind of an example is that, Shannon P?
Yeah.
Crack open the 6-pack.
Yeah, and for those employees watching, just so you know, she said she was coming back to clean house.
The Capri Lanes hosting a senior stop soon, and they're going to be the home of the Junior Masters Mother's Day weekend. So a lot of activity there at Capri Lanes in Dayton, Ohio.
I was just kidding, Capri Lanes. She never said that.
That's right. Put a little fear in them.
That's
Nothing
right.
wrong with that, Randy. Here's Liz Johnson in the 6th. She has 7. Needs a strike to be at 8 and goes right of target.
That's the first time she's missed the pocket. She started with a strike, went solid 8, ring and 10 back-to-back. Then flush 2. She just gets this one wide of target, and this isn't the Cheetah Oil pattern. It's not going to hook from there.
1, 2, 8. Trying to make this a 2-point frame. And she does. So we have yet to see a 3-point frame here. And match number 2, again, we're using the Petraglia scoring system where you get points for every time you shoot in a frame. Ideally, you want 1 point per frame, which means you got to strike.
And you got to throw until you clear the deck. Right, Rob?
That is correct, my friend. Here's Carolyn Dorin-Ballard at 9 through 5.
Really?
And she's looking at a 3.
Threw that one good, too.
Boy, and she really hasn't gotten a break in this game. And this ball here thrown really nice and just snaps real sharp in the back part of the lane. And instead of leaving one or the other, she leaves both the 4 and the 9.
She had a tough early summer at the World Series of Bowling. We saw her, and she was a little fiery when it was all over, and really more frustrated at her own performance. And she said, I drove straight through the night when it was over, 19 hours back to Texas. Her husband, Del Ballard Jr., we sat down, started changing timing. That didn't work. Went back with some multiple coaches, changed pitches, changed span, changed timing. And she said, I'm basically a work in progress. She's trying to get it worked out because there are some big events for the women coming up, the Queens and the U.S. Open. And there is hubby watching from the wings.
Hall of Famer Del Ballard. Looking at the scoreboard, he knows that Carolyn's trying to get inside the 16 number.
Skinny jeans for CDB.
Trying to get inside the 16 that was posted by Kelly Kulick.
She gets a 15 or lower. She will move on to the elimination match. If she gets a 16, she'll be tied with Kullick. They'll have a sudden death 1-ball roll-off. She goes higher, and she will. The best she can do is a 16.
Shannon Pluhowsky is dialed in.
Yeah.
And boy, we saw that at the World Series. I mean, she just bowled so well. Very, very talented young lady.
Speaking of the World Series, here's the Viper Championship. Liz Johnson took care of Linda Barnes, 211, 196.
Play your aim right. Roll. Atta girl.
That strike gets her to 10. And the pressure here is on Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, who has to strike out just to force a roll-off with Kelly Kulick to move on. She's at 12 with 4 frames to go.
Please roll it.
Nope. And she is done. Kelly Kulick will move on.
And Carolyn wanted to give a shout out to her brother-in-law, Jeff Lizzie. Jeff Lizzie, a PBA champion, used to bowl out here full-time. Dear friend of mine. Jeff has been battling really quite a a freak ailment, if you will, a parasite in his right eye that's infected his cornea, and Jeff's been going through some really hard times with that. And the doctors at the Cleveland Clinic are trying everything to save Jeff's eye and his eyesight. We all want to wish Jeff Lizzie the very best and get well soon, buddy.
It's been really tough for him, Carolyn was telling us, but they actually seem to get a sliver of good news in the last couple weeks, and a chance that the recovery may be better than they had initially planned. So we're hoping, cheering for him and his family. Here's Pluhowsky, and my Lord.
Are we going to see our first perfect Petraglia score?
Well, remember, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard last year in this event, 20 straight strikes.
20 bagger.
I haven't even come up with
you haven't come up with for anything for a 20 bagger, have you?
I really
double bow Derek? I don't know.
I really got to get going on that one. Yeah. Double supermodel. So here's Johnson at 10. So that puts her at 11. We already know Liz Johnson will move on to the elimination match. So it'll be Liz Johnson, Stefanie Nation, and Kelly Kulick in our elimination match. Shannon Pluhowsky, assuming she doesn't just implode in the 9th and the 10th.
Yeah,
will win this one, and she'll be in the championship match already with Michelle Feldman. CDB just rolling it out.
There's Alyssa. She's rooting for Mom. Carolyn brought a lot of fans in here today. A nice shot there by Shannon. And Liz, you bowled pretty much of a flawless game except for the one shot where you missed the head pin. Solid 8 and a ring of 10. Other than that, everything else is perfect. What do you see out there?
Yeah, I got a little fast on that one shot and didn't come off my hand very good. So I threw a couple shots and moved out and had a little hook spot, and I took advantage of it. So just got to continue to make good shots.
Thanks, Liz.
The reigning USBC Queens champion. She showed us a little memento from the title today, didn't she?
Carry on.
Upper back, lower neck, a little crown tattoo with the date on it that she won. One of 3 tattoos on her body that we learned of. We were not privy enough to see all 3.
I was not privy to that info until earlier today.
Yeah, I would not have pegged Liz Johnson to be the tatted up one.
I think it's great though, man.
What was she telling us that her parents, they're always asking her, when are you getting rid of those?
Yeah. She's like, sorry, Mom, they don't come off.
She said if she won here today, she'd get a sleeve.
No, she didn't. Nice shot, Carolyn, nice shot.
Finishing strong now, 2 in a row for CDB.
Bad bowlers. Unbelievable. God, Carolyn.
That's all about a ball change. She made a ball change after, I believe, frame 7, after frame 6, she made a ball change, went shaker 7, and then 2 back-to-back strikes.
Oh! And Messenger grazed the 7 as well.
Yeah. She's fun to watch, though, isn't she? She's got beautiful form going to the foul line, just a great arm swing. I just love watching her throw it. Very athletic.
She takes care of this, and she will win match number 2 and move on to the championship match. Uh-oh. But okay. She's been uh-ohing us this entire match. But the first 4 or 5 frames, everything was uh-oh. Oh, no, don't like it. Bam, 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 bam. Strike, strike, strike.
I think she's doing it on purpose. Just to throw you and me.
She's messing with us, and I don't like it. No, we love Shannon P. The new GM at Capri Lanes.
That's right. Cleaning house.
We're going to have to make a note next time you and I are in Dayton. I know where
I'm stopping by.
Absolutely. Another strike for Johnson. She is done in the 10th. She will move on to the elimination match with Stefanie Nation and Kelly Kulick. So Michelle Feldman and Shannon Pluhowsky win their respective matches. They live to bowl again. We'll talk about the elimination match when we return. Takes me back to Arlington, Texas, and match number 2 in the book. Shannon Pluhowsky with an 11. What a wonderful outing by Pluhowsky. she advances to the three-woman championship match. Time now for our Geico Championship recap. Randall, and here's the shot of the day.
It really is. Michelle Feldman goes for the win and converts the 3-4-6-7. I mean, she could have gone from first to worst. And then she beats Stefanie Nation in a one-ball roll-off after Stefanie got 6. And then in our second match, Shannon Pluhowsky, well, let's see. She struck in the first 9 frames. And a little bit of luck didn't hurt her either. You know, she gets up in the 10th frame. We could have seen our first Petraglia perfect game, but she got us 9 spare instead.
Not to beat. Pluhowsky Feldman move on to the title match. Who will join them? Up next, it's the elimination match. Stefanie Nation, Kelly Kulick, Liz Johnson. Low score advances to the championship match. Great show so far in Arlington. We'll be back with the conclusion of the PBA Women's Series Showdown presented by Bowl.com on the backside. And glad you're with us this Sunday afternoon. Rob Stone once again joined by 13-time titleist Randy Peterson. And earlier in match number 1 and number 2, we saw 3 things. We saw a commanding win, we saw a come-from-behind victory, and we saw a reprieve for a pretty big champion.
We had a little bit of everything, didn't we? Shannon Pluhowsky was absolutely brilliant in her first match. All but perfect, striking in the first 9 frames before finally missing in the 10th. But you see, she's got some nice breaks as well. I think this was the most impressive, though. Michelle Feldman gets up in the 10th frame and needs to convert this for the tie. I asked her, I said, were you really going for it? She said, absolutely. I didn't come here to finish second. And then Kelly Kulick got off to a red-hot start and then faltered late coming down the stretch. Got some really nice hits like that, but guess what? She's still here, and it's extended play for Kelly Kulick.
That's right. So Kelly Kulick moves on to the elimination match where she will take on Liz Johnson and Stefanie Nation. We're rolling with the Petraglia scoring system, which means the lowest score of these 3 will move on to our title match.
And now for our elimination match competitors. The PBA Women's World Champion made history when she became the first woman to win the PBA Tour event at the PBA Tournament of Champions. She's a member of Team USA from Union, New Jersey. Please welcome Kelly Kulick.
So Kulick will go up first. It's been a wild ride for her since she won that Tournament of Champions title January 24th of this year. She's been to the White House. She's had columns written about her.
Rick Riley wrote one about her.
Beautiful column. The Petraglia scoring system, here's what it means. Strike equals 1. Low is good. We've just simplified things further.
The PBA Women's Series Viper champion has a Queens win, and she's a 2-time U.S. Open winner. From Cheektowaga, New York, please welcome Liz Johnson.
A thinner Liz Johnson than you've seen in the past. She's lost 20 pounds since October, started on the Nutrisystem, taking care of herself, still wants to drop another 5 to 10. She says she's at the weight she was in high school right now. Love it. And we've opened up with 2 strikes.
The PBA Women's Series Earl Anthony Memorial Classic champion owns 2 PBA Women's Series titles. From Grand Prairie, Texas, please welcome Stefanie Nation.
Stefanie Nation trying to earn 2 paychecks from this facility today. She's an employee of the USBC, trying to get a winner's paycheck here at the Women's Series Showdown. The nose.
3-6-10.
Well, this one just drifts high, and luckily Stefanie doesn't leave a split, but the 3-6-10 is no give me. It's not a picnic shooting a 3-6-10 anytime. And if you want to make it even harder, throw the 9-pin behind the 3.
The underrated spare pickup.
Now, this is like making a downhill 5-footer, maybe 6-footer.
And misses the 3-pin. And she is not done. Now she needs to take care of the 3 pin, so she's looking, if she's hopeful right now, at a 3 in frame number 1. Flashback to the Earl Anthony Memorial Classic in Dublin, California, mid-January. Linda Barnes, the opposition for Stefanie Nation in the title match. And Stefanie rolled on to a 201-181 victory. She said it had been a rough season up until that point, and that win really gave her a lot of confidence. Settles herself and takes care of the 3 pin, so she sits down with an opening 3.
Come on.
But in this format, anything's possible.
Here is Kelly Kulick winning the Tournament of Champions in Vegas, January 24th, taking down Mika Koivuniemi, and then Chris Barnes in the title match, 265-195, the first woman to ever win on the PBA Tour. And she leaves double wood here in the second.
Yeah, she took down a couple of heavy hitters on the men's tour, and Mika Koivuniemi and Chris Barnes. And isn't it interesting that those two just happen to be tour roommates? She gave the tour roommates a thumping.
A lot has changed in Kelly's life since that win. She's still looking for some bonus sponsorship. She said to us today, Dancing with the Stars, call me. Give me a shout.
I could see you on Dancing with the Stars.
I would be a quick elimination. So Kelly cleans that one up. She sits down with a 2. In the second frame, a 3 overall.
Liz, you got a chance to get out to an early lead. What's your mindset at this point in the match?
Just got to continue to make good shots. I feel like I got a good look, and just one shot at a time.
She bowled 4 PBA events this season, did Liz Johnson. Said after that, got a little fried out from being on the road so much, went home, took some time off, helped rejuvenate her. Here she is in the second.
Whoa, that's got to help. Wow, that was not a good shot.
Let's not forget that Liz Johnson was the first woman ever to make a telecast on the men's tour back in 2004, 2005. She ended up losing to Tommy Jones, the banquet open in Grand Rapids, Michigan, after defeating Wes Malott in the semifinal match.
And there's more meat left on that bone for Liz Johnson.
What is going on?
We urge you to head on over to PBA.com and download PBA Bowling 2, brand new for your mobile device. It's revised and updated. It's a great game for your iPhone, iPad, BlackBerry, whatever device you have. Features enhanced 3D graphics and allows you to bowl alongside many of your favorite PBA stars in multiple venues. The game also lets you select special bowling balls and oil patterns. Kill a lot of time at the airport playing PBA Bowling 2.
Get through the shot.
I'm nodding.
Right here.
So if Stefanie Nation can get a strike here, she'll pull even with Liz Johnson at 4, just 1 behind Kelly Kulick. Again, you are never really safe and never really out with the Petraglia scoring system. You could have just a blow up of a frame that will allow somebody to slide by you. The Nation Invasion with the strike. That puts her at 4 points through 2. She's tied with Liz Johnson. And your Tournament of Champion winner, Kelly Kulick, on top through 2 frames. Will Kulick move on to roll Pluhowsky and Feldman in the final? Find out when we return to Arlington, Texas. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Back in Arlington, where Stefanie Nation now tied with Kelly Kulick for the lead through 4 frames. As Nation was perfect in the 3rd and the 4th, we now begin the 5th. Kelly Kulick, leader on the final PBA Women's Series point rankings list, had the 2nd best Women's Series average, just over 214. Messenger.
Good shot. Good shot.
She's looking for another one of those trip 4s.
So close. So close.
Takes care of the 4. Time now for the Lumber Liquidators. Know the wood. Randy?
Is it me?
It's you.
Thanks, Rob. Scorpion oil pattern used to be 41 feet, but it's 42 feet. It's modified, okay? So I know what the graphic says, but trust me when I say it's 42 feet. What you're going to see is the straighter players are going to play out. Liz Johnson playing in between 1st and 2nd arrow. Kelly Kulick a little softer, a little more hand. She's going to play a little closer to the track area.
Johnson, man, a strike in the 1st frame. It's been 2-point frames since.
See that ball just inside 1st arrow and just not flipping up hard enough to the pocket, and that's why the 6-pin isn't active enough to take the 10 out.
That will take care of the 10. She said, you know, mentally this event's going to help her prepare for the USBC Queens and the US Open. Both events here in Texas.
You know, Rob, the week 10 was probably the start of the end of my career. Week 10 is not your friend.
That's the sign that things are going in the wrong direction.
It's a bad sign. Week 10 4-pin when you're a right-hander, not good.
Stefanie Nation looking for 4 in a row.
Hang on.
She had dropped all 10. She would have taken the lead. Now must take care of the 4-pin to be tied with Kulick.
Do you remember what I just said?
Yes.
I said
4.
No, I said
something about a 4
week
and a 10
10 4-pin.
Right.
And the last 2 shots thrown were what?
Week 10s and a 4-pin.
I rest my case, Mr. Stone.
Nation takes care of that. So Kulick and Nation tied for 1st with 8. Kelly Kulick up now in the 6th. And Kelly, what has been going on in your lane so far?
Well, Rob, the lanes are much different from what I bowled on earlier. They're just a touch more sensitive. Seems to be a little wet dry, and I'm just trying to blend it out. You know, we all have the 4-pin, 10-pin syndrome going on, so I think we can just find a way to blend it out, catch a few breaks. We'll start to strike.
Hey, Dancing with the Stars called during the break. Anything you want me to tell them?
Yeah, tell them I'm available to dance next year on the broadcast. So, you know, I'll dance with Max or anybody on Dancing with the Stars. I'm ready to go.
You got it.
I don't know how I would do in heels, but I would go.
Speaking of heels, I have a heel story for you. I can't believe I just said that phrase.
Push.
Yeah, gets all 10 into the pit, does Kulick. Speaking of heels, I was over at the Hall of Fame Museum gift shop. They have women's heels, but the leather part, you know, that wraps around the foot is made of bowling shoes.
Rental shoes.
No. Like really high class, like really actually pretty nice.
No kidding.
You have to go check it out for the missus.
Wow.
I notice I take in everything. Here's Liz Johnson in the 6th. Has 10 points in last place. That's not going to help her cause.
So good. That's not so good.
Boy, and she's doing a juggling act right now with equipment, trying to find the right one to get to the pocket, and she just left a 7-8.
Chances of me getting 2 on this?
Liz, you're staring this down. What is the approach mentally and with the game right now?
I'm going for my 4-pin right now. That's what I'm going to try to look at.
Because a 4-pin would
what
be,
happens.
it would be right in between the 7 and the 8, Rob.
Gotcha. So she's going to try and kick the field goal is what you're telling
me. You got to
me.
get it right in between the two, buddy. It can be done.
Nope.
Oh,
Now again,
boy.
Liz Johnson is in last place, but with the
Bad timing.
Petraglia scoring system,
Not so good.
anything can happen.
Is possible.
We're not trying to jinx anybody. I just want to let you know she is far from out of it. Liz Johnson at the Viper Championship rolled against Linda Barnes and took care of Linda 211 to 196. And that victory got her here to the Women's Series Showdown. There's the 7. That's a 3-point frame, and Johnson now with 13, 4 more than Kulick. Here's Nation with the strike here. She would remain even with Kelly Kulick. Nation finished second in last season's Women's Series Showdown to Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. That one was held in Florida. Her 4th strike through 6 frames. Nation and Kulick going toe-to-toe, but don't count out Liz Johnson just yet. The conclusion of the Kulick-Johnson Nation match when ESPN's coverage of the PBA Women's Series Showdown returns to Arlington, Texas. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, welcoming you back to Arlington, Texas. Stefanie Nation, your leader now through 7 frames. Kelly Kulick in second with 12. She had a very challenging 7th frame, leaving the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. It would take a 3 on this frame to drop to 2nd place behind Stefanie Nation. So the low score of these 3 will move on to your title match, where they will take on Michelle Feldman and Shannon Pluhowsky. Again, the Petraglia scoring system, you earn 1 point for each shot you take until you get all 10 pins down. Low score is what you want.
Kelly just went to a ball change right there, Rob. It looked like a little bit more subtle. A little bit more subtle ball reaction down the lane.
Her 4th strike of this match.
She was using the same piece of equipment that she used to beat Chris Barnes for the Tournament of Champions victory, and then went to a different ball there, a little bit smoother, change of direction.
Liz Johnson off a strike in the 7th, a 1-point strike, and now another one. She's at 15, 2 behind Kulick. Again, anything can happen with the scoring system. Nation looks to be in good control, but one bad frame and everything gets tightened up.
Yeah, everything changes. One big ugly split, a washout, 2-8-10, 2-4-8-10, and it's a different ball game.
Little home court advantage here for Nation. We'll tell you about that after the shot. And another strike for Nation. She practices here. And when I say here, I mean literally here on these lanes about 3 days a week for the past couple weeks, and solely on the Scorpion oil pattern. And yes, the lanes change and the oils change the way people are bowling it, but the fact that she is very comfortable in these surroundings, you would think, Randy, would be a pretty big advantage for her.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage to be able to practice on the lanes that you're going to compete on using the same oiling machine that's going to put down the exact same oil pattern.
Kulick in second with 13 points. Give her 14. 2 in a row, 5 total.
That's all right.
Right now, Liz Johnson has one thought on her mind and one thought only: strike or nothing else. I mean, she's got to strike in the 9th and strike in the 10th to have any chance. Well, she's found the right ball after 6 frames. That's 3 in a row.
So she remains 2 behind Kulick and 5 behind Nation, who steps up here in the 9th.
If Stefanie doesn't strike on this next shot, this match will be very interesting heading into the 10th frame. If she does strike, she will only have 12 through 9. But again, with the Petraglia scoring system, anything is possible.
And Nation at a dozen right now and in great control of this one.
Remember, the lowest score moves on to face Michelle Feldman and Shannon Pluhowsky. Only one will advance.
Did you hear the music, by the way?
No, I try not to listen to that song.
One of the greatest songs ever recorded. Alexi Lawless and his Hambo.
I'm not listening to you right now, Rob.
You're better than that, Randy. Here's Kulick in the 10th on 14 points. And she will sit down with 15.
Got a chance.
Come on.
An outside chance. She's going to need a disastrous 10th frame from Stefanie Nation.
Now, what this means, though, is Liz Johnson is eliminated because she can't beat Kelly Kulick.
Right, and Stefanie, all she needs is a spare. And she will have 14 points, and she will move on.
So Johnson will clean that one up. Nation is next. And like you said, she knows she has 2 shots to drop all 10. She leaves a split. She's in a world of hurt because that may set up a tie or even worse. So good to see the new look Liz Johnson back. Curious to see how she'll do at the Queens and the U.S. Open. Her day is done with 18. Kelly Kulick at 15 will sit and watch Stefanie Nation. 2-shot frame will move her onto the title match where she'll take on Shannon Pluhowsky and Michelle Feldman. Nation moves on.
Give it up.
What a conclusion for Stefanie Nation, closing out with 5 straight strikes. She advances to the title match. Up next, Michelle Feldman and Shannon Pluhowsky. Half-hour telecasts begin on June 27th. The elimination match goes to Stefanie Nation. So she rolls on, and she will take on Shannon Pluhowsky and Michelle Feldman in your championship match. And Randy standing by laneside with Michelle Feldman.
Well, Rob, it was one of the greatest spare conversions you'll ever see. Michelle, take us through what your thought process was when you left the 3-4-6-7, and you needed to convert that just for the tie. What were you thinking?
I'm going to convert it for the tie.
Nice. Just like that easy.
Yeah, I'm not a not going for it kind of person. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And you know what? At this point, there's a lot of money on the line, so I'm going to try for it.
Well, it was a heck of a conversion, and now you've got just one more game for $25,000. But more importantly, there's a pretty important birthday coming up. Tell us about this limo ride and some friends and what's going on there.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a really good birthday if I win today. That'd be sweet. But yeah, it's my 30-something-ish birthday. I'm not in the mid-30s yet, but I'm very close. And a friend of mine who works for me, it's his birthday too. So we're running a limo, and for 8 hours, we're probably not going to be able to stand. Probably by after that. You know how it goes in a limo.
Well played, Michelle. Good luck.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Party at Feldman's. So Michelle Feldman, Shannon Pluhowsky, Stefanie Nation, one of those 3 will walk away as champion of the PBA Women's Series Showdown. For the title match of the 2010 PBA Women's Series Showdown presented by Bowl.com. Again, we're coming your way from the campus of the USBC here in Arlington, Texas. Take a look now at our Bear breakdown as we look at the season averages of your 3 finalists, and Shannon Pluhowsky, clearly the leader in that category. And here is the introduction of Shannon P.
The PBA Women's Series Chameleon Champion has been a member of Team USA for 10 straight years. From Kettering, Ohio, please welcome Shannon Pluhowsky.
Shannon won the 06 USBC Queens, won twice this past season on Chameleon and Scorpion. Also finished second at the Women's World Championship and fourth at the Bear Don and Paula Carter mixed doubles. And she opens up by leaving the 7.
Shannon's last match was bowled on this very same lane, lane 5, and if you didn't catch her in that match, she only started with the first 9 strikes in a row.
Using the Petraglia scoring system, that frame will go down as a 2. Took her 2 shots to drop all 10. Up now, Stefanie Nation from Grand Prairie, Texas. Lives about 15 minutes south of the facility we're bowling in right now.
Rob, what do you think your low score would be in the Petraglia scoring system?
What my low score would be? Well, I would at least start by doubling everything up. So I would be hopeful to be in the high 20s.
Okay.
Sound about right?
We're going to have to try that someday.
Right of target was Nation, and she's got her work cut out of here to get out of the first with a 2.
Yeah, in order to get out with a 2, she's going to have to slide the 2-pin over into the 10. This ball just never grabs a lane. Comes in light, 2-4-10.
Stefanie, an employee of the United States Bowling Congress, which is based right here in this facility. And the 10 still needs to be taken care of.
And in the Petraglia scoring system, a lot of strategy comes into play, because if Stefanie goes for that split and misses the 2-pin and only covers the 4, it's 8 out, essentially, when you're keeping score, you know, the regular scoring system way. Well, with the Petraglia system, if she misses the 2-pin, now she's left with the 2-10. It could take her 2 more shots to clear all the pins.
So this to get out of the first with a score of 3.
She owns 2 PBA Women's Series titles and is the owner of 12 professional titles. From Auburn, New York, please welcome Michelle Feldman.
The owner of 12 professional titles, also the owner and GM of Falcon Lanes in Auburn, New York. She does it all there. And drops all 10 in the first frame. And Feldman in the lead with a 1 through 1. Long way to go. Here's Pluhowsky, who was so dominant in her earlier match in the second frame. Again, second straight frame leaves the 7-pin.
Never saw that in her first match. The only time she missed was when she went through the nose in the 10th frame, and now it's back-to-back week 7s. Look for Shannon to make an adjustment to get that 7-pin out.
What's the adjustment you would advise her?
Well, it's either a ball change, or she's got to get just a little bit softer with her speed to get the ball to drive into the pins harder. Special thanks to Stu Upson, USBC Executive Director. Thank you so much for your wonderful hospitality here at this beautiful venue, the ITRC.
And for letting us use the workout facility here that Team USA uses when they're in town.
Yes, I got a good workout in. You were trying to figure out how to get the TV to turn on.
Oh, really? Nation in the second. Is that how it's going to go for the title match?
Light and light, first two shots for Stefanie Nation. But at least this time, the 10-pin is not standing.
Move your eyes.
So, Rob, the adjustment here is, you heard her say it, she's going to move her eyes. It looks like she needs to just tighten up her angle a little bit.
She says move her eyes. What does that mean?
She's going to move her target. She's going to move her target in and just try to get her angle a little bit straighter.
Give me two.
Rutrow. All of a sudden, she's looking at a 6 through 2 frames. Again, anything can happen with the Petraglia scoring system, so yes, it's an early hole. She's dug herself. But Pluhowsky and Feldman could have blow-up frames as well.
Yep.
That would pull her right back into it.
The machines are only programmed to cycle twice, and when there's a pin left up after 2 balls, it's going to sweep off what's ever left, so it's got to be reset manually.
Back-to-back threes for Stefanie Nation.
See, the machines were never designed to accommodate the Petraglia scoring system.
It sounds like a business opportunity, if you ask me.
It's just a software issue, right?
Do I look like I have the answers to that one?
That's right, you can operate the remote.
Back-to-back jacks for Michelle Feldman.
I have to pull this earpiece out.
Well, Michelle, what are you seeing on that lane through 2?
Right now, I'm just trying to keep it off my hand clean, and at the end, I can do my signature.
I'm an annoying customer at Falcon Lanes. What are you telling me?
You tell them,
Love it.
We love Michelle Feldman, and Michelle Feldman in the lead through 2. Plenty more bowling to be had here from Arlington. ESPN's coverage of the PBA Women's Series Showdown returns after this.
And save now.
And we are back in Arlington. Michelle Feldman, your leader through 5 frames. She had strikes in the 3rd and the 4th. Took her 2 shots to drop all 10 in the 5th. Shannon Pluhowsky, 1 behind her. Stefanie Nation still having a rough go of it. Yet to get a strike here in our championship match. But again, with the Petraglia scoring system, we are never out of things. And here is Shannon Pluhowsky, 3 in a row, looking for what the kids call a ham bone here in the 6th.
Carry.
Play the music, Maestro. Ham bone!
Rob.
4 in a row for Pluhowsky after leaving 7 pins in the 1st and the 2nd. Look at that head pin just hit the side and rail the top of the 10.
We like to call that 10 back. You notice there wasn't 1 pin laying on the deck. That's 10 back.
There we go, a strike for Nation. Finally, her first. That gets her at 14, 6 behind Pluhowsky. And here's Michelle Feldman. Opened up with a 4-bagger and then took her 2 shots to drop all 10 in the 5th. Here she is to close the 6th. Back-to-back leaves of the 10. She converts this, and Pluhowsky and Feldman are tied.
A couple of back-to-back slow 10 pins after starting off with a 4-bagger. There's the deep inside line. Look at the rev rate. Solid, baby. Solid. She's got a big party coming up. She wants to win this.
Big birthday tomorrow for Michelle Feldman. Again, I'm not going to say the age, right? She wouldn't.
She didn't. I wouldn't go there if I were you.
I want to stay on her good side. So here is Pluhowsky, tied for Feldman for the lead at 8 points through 6 frames.
Shot.
For the 3rd time this match, she has left the 7-pin.
She's been real solid. Every ball in the pocket, 4 strikes, 3 7-pins. Just a real good, solid player, Rob.
Love her form, the execution, the follow-through.
Just a real athletic-looking form.
Real pleasure to watch. She bowled 2 PBA events this past season, did Pluhowsky, the U.S. Open and the Atonic Don Johnson Eliminator in Columbus. $25,000 will go to the winner of this one.
Like she moved in just a little bit on that shot, and now there's no pin carry.
There should have been.
See, this is a little closer to second arrow. She's been a little bit closer to the first arrow, and that just got her into nothing but trouble. Now she moves in, throws a good shot, only to leave a ring in 10.
So Nation now at 16, 6 behind Pluhowsky. Let's see what Feldman can do. With a strike here, she will retake the lead. There's her 5th strike, and Feldman back on top. Michelle, after those back-to-back spares, what was the change you made there in the 7th?
You know, I think I just got a little too lazy in those last 2. Didn't really get around it, and that one I tried to get a little around it more.
So Feldman in the lead with 9. Pluhowsky 1 behind her. Didn't like it, but she'll like the result.
Whoopsies.
Her 5th 1-point frame.
Shannon, why didn't you like that shot?
I thought I missed it a little bit, but I guess not. Created a little bit of hold there for me.
Hey, well, at least the 7-pin went out that time.
It's true.
Always looking on the bright side of things, aren't you, Randy?
You have to. You always have to look at the glass being half full.
Stefanie Nation needs to look at her first 7 frames as half full with a good opportunity here in the final 3. She is in a bit of a hole here. Needs to get some 1-point frames, some strikes. Oh, you 10-pin. 2nd time in as many frames.
Yeah, and right now, Stephanie's probably thinking, if only cursing was allowed. Ring in 10, the last shot, and now the soft 10. And her ball reaction is just not what she needs it to be to stay competitive in this match.
Former collegiate bowler at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Takes care of the 10. That gives her 18. Just 1 strike so far for Nation. Feldman comes up. She has had strikes in 5 of her 7 frames. 9 points in the lead. And another one for Feldman. What's really interesting about Michelle is she qualified for this event, again, by finishing 4th in the Scorpion Championship because the top 3 finishers had already qualified for the Women's Series Showdown. So this one was really gifted to her. And here she is, just about 2 frames away from a $25,000 payday.
Yeah, and as it looks right now, she's not going to finish any worse than 2nd if she does falter.
And a break there as Pluhowsky goes a little heavy. She needs the 4-7.
And with 2 frames left, if Shannon converts the 4-7, she'll have 13. Michelle Feldman can get up in the 9th frame, throw another strike, and then have a 2-point lead heading into the 10th frame. Whoa. Skinny jeans, Rob?
Put them on. Jump up and down. Get into them. 13 through 9 for Pluhowsky. She's in second. Nation in third with 18 points. And Michelle Feldman, the soon-to-be birthday girl, in the lead with 10 points. Again, Lowe wins the title. Less is more at the Women's Series Showdown. There's her second strike.
Right now, Stephanie just wants this to be over.
2 out of 9 ain't bad. Oh, man.
Feldman looking for 3 in a row. Here she is in the bottom of the 9th. Big strike.
Can you say clinic?
Clinical.
I mean, this is just a strike clinic she's putting on. Only 2 soft 10s. Everything else strikes through 9. Big 10th frame coming up for Shannon Pluhowsky. She's only thinking one thing right now, and that's strike. Has to strike.
And instead, she leaves the big 4, and this one has just been gift-wrapped for Feldman.
Boy, you said it.
Not that bad.
Michelle Feldman is now
Michelle Feldman could have me bowl this one, and she would still get the paycheck.
She would still probably win if you bowled the 10th for her.
But crazier things have happened.
Well, you know, the Big 4 has only been made once on television by you-know-who. Walter Ray Williams Jr.
You mean 7-time Player of the Year winner, Walter Ray Williams Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, at 50 years of age, Player of the Year, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
What a season Walter Ray had, huh?
Incredible.
And you know what he's going to do now in the offseason?
Bowl the senior tour.
Yeah, try and bowl some senior events. I'm sure those guys are thrilled Walter Ray is at 50 and can join them now.
Yeah, I'm sure they can't wait for him to come out.
So Pluhowsky done with a 16.
Well, right now she's sitting in second.
It is going to take an epic blow-up by Michelle Feldman to not win this
Hey, guys, I just want to make sure it's not the high score that wins, right?
Nation trying to change the rules on us. If it was, she'd be in good control of this one.
No, if it was the high score, Rob would win.
This for a 20, and she'll get it.
All right, nice way to finish.
Third strike, ends with the 20. And now Michelle Feldman up. 4 shots or less will win it for her. Only needed 1. Big win for the birthday girl.
Last one. Got the last one. Yeah. I can't even
Big win for Michelle Feldman, a $25,000 payday for Feldman, who was just dominant in the title match.
This is going to make my grandparents. This right here, this is for my grandmother right here. And my grandma.
8 strikes through 10 frames. We'll be back to wrap up the 2010 PBA Women's Series Showdown after this. The PBA Women's Series Showdown, presented by Bowl.com, is brought to you by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. By Touch of Gray, gets rid of some gray, never all. and by Atonic. Visit atonic.com/bowl. Back in Arlington, Texas, where Michelle Feldman has just wrapped up the 2010 PBA Women's Series Showdown, a commanding victory in the championship match. 12 points on the Petraglia scoring system. Time now for our Geico Championship recap. Randall.
Rob, Michelle Feldman got off to a red-hot start, starting with a four-bagger. Backed it up with 2 soft 10s, but came back, made a little hand adjustment at release, and 4 more to close. 8 out of 10 to capture the championship.
Shannon Pluhowsky coming in second. Stefanie Nation in third place. So the Women's Series Showdown goes to Michelle Feldman, and a host of PBA stars will return to the outdoor setting of Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, the first of 50.